Hello. This is the second of January 2015, and as you can see, I'm recording all this, reporting out of the streets of the city of Paso, Texas. And again, this is about the 21st Century Christian Enlightenment Movement and the work that it is doing to usher in a multipolar world order to replace the prevailing unipolar world order led by America. And in our area earlier communication, we have talked about the two major pillars of this major multipolar world order: the unity, the meritocratic political system, and the conservationist economic system. These two systems will serve as the two major pillars of the emerging multipolar world order. And right now we want to talk about what would that multipolar world order look like? What should it look like? It should be a world order that an international order that should be more stable than the world order dominated by America for some decades now. It should be more stable, it should be more equitable, and it should give the various nations of this world the freedom to shape their societies politically, culturally, and in other ways as they see fit, and no longer have America dictating to them, America and the West and the Western nations dictating to them as to what kind of political systems or cultural systems they should run. In other words, the major multipolar world order should be one of a largely decolonized world, because, as we said earlier, the colonization never really ended with the granting of political independence, of what they call flag independence, to colonized countries, beginning from the 1940s and cutting across the 1950s up to the 60s and 70s and so on and so forth. Colonization never really ended with all that. It just continued in more subtle forms, in more insidious forms. And so the emerging multipolar world order, one of its major objectives is to put an end to this hidden residual form of colonization, to end it and to return the nations of this world back to a state of true independence. And like we said earlier, it goes without saying that the present powers that be of the present globalized structure of the world, they won't let go of their colonial, control of the world. They won't let go easily. They'll fight tooth and nail, to continue to perpetuate it. They'll fight tooth and nail to continue to perpetuate their colonial control of the world through politics, finance, culture, and other ways. But eventually they'll be forced to let go. Eventually they'll be forced to let go and the world order will emerge. Eventually they'll be forced to let go. The new world order is going to emerge. And like we mentioned in our earlier reports, the emerging multipolar world order, we have several nations serving as its major poles of influence and power. This will include, of course, America, the European Union, or whatever that is left of it after it shrinks, because it is going to shrink. China, Russia, India, Turkey, perhaps Brazil, and maybe in the future one country, maybe Nigeria or South Africa, but we're talking about maybe 50 years from now. And so, like somebody said, the world can either be structured on one or other kind of basis. One is that you structure it as a unipolar system dominated by one country, the way it has been under America's dominance for this past couple of decades. Or you create a more balanced, a balance of powers, a balance of powers and influence among the major countries of this world. And so it is the second option that we are moving into, where you have several countries, the major countries of the world, the most powerful economically and militarily powerful countries of this world. It's a sort of balanced tension in their relationship with one another, with no one country exercising the kind of clear hegemony that America has exercised over this past couple of decades. And so that's what we're going to have, with this emerging multipolar world order. That's what we're going to have. And it should be a far more preferable international system to what has prevailed under the unipolar structure dominated by American Western countries. We're reporting this out of the city of Paso in Texas, and that's the downtown. This is the downtown area. So that's the kind of international system that we'll be entering. At the moment, the American political and intellectual elite are fighting, to prevent, the emergence of this new multipolar world order. They don't want to give up on it. They want America to continue to exercise its dominance of the world unchallenged, and but eventually, of course, they'll be forced to face reality. Reality being that they can't stop the emergence of reality being that they can stop the emergence of this new international multi-centered international system. They can stop it, they can try, but they can't stop it. They can certainly try, but they can't stop it. And so, as we mentioned in our earlier talk, this system, we have the unity meritocratic system and the conservationist economic system as its two major pillars. replacing the liberal democracy and capitalism as the main systems of the world. So, like I've said, the emergence of this new multipolar system, this new international system, will come with a lot of hiccups, with a lot of birthing pains. That's in the nature of things. But eventually, it will gain traction across the world, expand, and many countries will adhere to it. That's just the way these things happen. A new system comes into being. It faces opposition from the stakeholders of the old system. But if the new system has enough propelling force, eventually it will overcome the resistance from the stakeholders of the old system and begin to expand its influence. That's what is going to happen. And it's going to take years, it's going to take decades for the new international, this new multipolar international system to expand its influence across the world. It's going to take time, but again, that's in the nature of things, and nobody's in a rush. And so it will be interesting to find out in the future, the extent to which the various countries of the world will adopt the two major pillars of this system, the unitive meritocratic system and the conservationist economic system. It will be interesting to find out in the future the extent to which they will adopt these two new systems. But one thing we have to explain about the unitive meritocratic system is that it's not going to come in one size fits all. No. It is going to come in various adaptations and variations, that we conform to the culture of each nation, to the traditions of each nation. In each nation, unlike the liberals that built the present international order that dates back many centuries, that dates back to the French Revolution, the Renaissance movement, and the Enlightenment movement. We don't believe in one-size-fits-all approach to, establishing political and cultural systems across the world, because it just is not wise. You can't just get a system and force it, without variation, without adaptation on countries. You can't do that any more than you can go and get a coat, made for somebody that is 6 feet tall and force everybody, whether the person is 5 feet 2 inches or 6 feet 7 inches or 4 feet 5 inches, and force everybody to wear that same coat, that same size that is suitable only for somebody that is 6 feet. Are you getting what we're saying? We're saying that just like you tailor clothes to fit individuals, you have to tailor political and cultural systems to fit societies, to fit their age-old traditions. So that's how it's going to be with the establishment of the unity meritocratic system across the world. It will be tailored in ways that will fit the peculiarities, the political and cultural peculiarities and traditions of each country. That's how it's going to work. That's the wise way to do it. The liberals that build the present world order, going back centuries, weren't terribly wise out. They just were not. And so that's why they try to force upon nations the same system, the same political cultural systems. And that's why there has been so much instability, with so many societies objecting and resisting the imposition upon them of values and cultures and systems that were alien to them. And you see this most particularly in the Middle East, but also in other parts of the world. We're not going to, as spearheads of this, the expansion of this new system, this new international system, we're not going to make the same foolish mistake. We will let nations to look at the system, the unity meritocratic system, and then adapt it to the particularities, of their societies. Adapt it in different variations and different adaptations. That's the way it's going to work out best over time. Giving the system flexibility, giving the adaptation of the system to societies great flexibility and great variety. Okay, at the moment we are going to pause this recording, go on to the next one.